Welcome back, everybody. My name is Grace, or Gibby, or whatever you prefer, and today I'm going to be doing a challenge, which is a kill of Entropy, the challenge mode, with 0 stats. There's no real reason to do this. I just wanted to see if I could do it, use some unusual items, and have some fun with it. And I'll tell you a little bit about the strategy before I get into the kill. So the goal is really just to limit the incoming damage as much as possible, while slowly whittling Entropy down. He doesn't have any infinite ramping mechanics like some other bosses, Shadow Rocky or Thunderbird, or Shadow Scythe Virophage, or even Sea Titan, for example, which means I can really just take my time. Test kill I did was 50 turns, so it is a slow method. But also I put on some pretty significant restrictions, and I'll put up a screenshot now of everything I did, or wasn't allowed to use for myself. That's just because I enjoyed making it a big challenge. I didn't want to have it be too easy with some rare items or golden gift box items or other really strong items like Essence Orb or Kindred. So I think it would have been less fun if I had those strong abilities. So I just tried to stay away from strong items and meta items when I could. But with all that being said, I'm just going to get right into it and show you the method. First up, I've got the regeneration potion. Just to give me a slight HP bonus. Okay, well my shield seems to have bugged out a little bit, but there we go. So I'll tell you about the shield in a minute. But the way I'm lowering damage is using Necromancer in the fully defensive mode. Any armor works, it's just that there's very few fully defensive dark armors that can get to 13% resistance. Neko only gets to 14, and also Neko's kind of overpowered, so I didn't really want to use it. And I just wanted to get my defenses as low as possible. I'm not going to use any of the Necromancer abilities, I'm just using it as a click attack armor. Next, I've got a low upkeep dark resistance misc, which is Shikyo Mask. It's pretty low SP cost, you can see it's only 55 or something, which is quite efficient. It also gives 7 melee defense, which you can see here, which is nice as a bonus since Entropy's Dark Attack is melee. And finally, I've got the Avenger's Bulwark, which is apparently a little bit weird, a little bit bugged, but it's working now, so we'll just roll with it. And that's a shield from the Dragonlord's Keep saga, the Frontier of Perdition. It's a pretty unknown item because it's not very good. But you can occasionally, it builds up charges per attack, and you can use it for an Ellie shield when you get 28 charges. So it's not great, but I thought it was a fun little item that I'd showcase. I had to retrain my Knight to use it though, because it follows your Night element. You can get it to be water, light, earth, dark, or fire. So if you want it, feel free and get it. So that's my darkness setup. I'm also going to use a healing guest for most of these turns. But I'll attack once or twice with one of my many weapons, depending on what I want to do. The defensive dragon partisan is the one I'm going to use now. It just slightly decreases incoming damage from dragons. So that's what I'm using it for. The madam weapons on defensive would actually probably be better. But to be honest, I'm trying to use off meta items, so I didn't really want to use the madam arsenal. Okay, so now he's on his ice attack. First thing we're going to do is switch to a random fully defensive ice armor at 13% resistance. I'm not really using the skills of this armor. I do think it's underrated though. But anyways, I'm also going to use the defensive dragon partisan probably for this section because again the ice attack is really strong. I'm going to use Chiaro Symbiote, which reduces all incoming damage, and I'm also going to use the Pride Lord Guest, which also reduces ice damage. Now Pride Lord's obviously a meta item, but it's my video, my rules, I'll do what I want. And I've also got the not the Horo Show Void Visor, just the Void Visor, which reduces incoming ice damage by 50%. And it's cheaper upkeep than the Horo Show Void Visor, so that's why I'm using it. Just lower SP costs. So that's pretty much it, and if all goes well, I should only take a couple hundred damage from this attack. Yep, so I've really brought down the damage, and this is the method I'm going to be using for every ice attack in his cycles. Next up is harm. Now harm, there's only a few ways to reduce it, and I'm going to use pretty much the ones that I can. So I'm going to use the full Horosho set. Let's see. I actually don't know if it works with the normal Void Visor. Let's just test it out. Why not? But I'm going to use the full set, which is the misc, armor, and weapon, which reduces incoming harm damage by 50%. I'm also using the Madam Barrier, which lowers my blocking. I'll show you what it does. When I click it, it'll give me a little bit less damage, but also less blocking. So I'm more likely to get hit, but take a little bit less damage. Now, because this attack is auto hit, that doesn't matter. So it's just a benefit for me. I'll also get my healing guest just to upkeep my resources a little bit. And that's pretty much it. If I'm ever in a real pickle, I can use the Sisters of Mercy spell to reduce the harm damage as well by giving myself an Ellie shield, but I don't think I'll need to do that if I'm careful. Okay, so you can see the meteors coming in, 242 damage. So the Void Visor does work with the Horosho Void Vigilante. They don't have to be the same type of Void armor, misc, and weapon. That's good to know. But after the harm attack, I get one turn to myself. Now I've got a couple things that I want to do. One, if I have enough resources, like I do now, what I want to do is use the Shenya armor and inflict a prismatic burn. Now the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to use Spotter Drake and Pride Lord. And then I'm also going to use a misc that increases my dexterity and my luck with a ranged weapon. So now I have 100 dexterity and 50 luck. This is a rare, but you can just use Sight Beyond Sight, which is from the Devourer's Saga. And I'll use the Swift Wind skill. There's another thing you'll see me do pretty often, which is use the Gog Shapeshift with an SP Restore weapon, which in this case is going to be Nith's Fang. That's because I don't need to defend this turn, and I want to maintain my resources. But since it's the beginning of the fight, I'm trying to build up my Prismatic Burn, so we're going to do that now. Make sure I've got all my stuff set up. I think Pride Lord actually was on the wrong toggle. Yep, okay, Pride Lord's on the right toggle. And now we'll use Prismatic Burn. Okay, so I was pretty unlucky. Only 2 of the 5 hit, but it did inflict the Prismatic Burn, and that's what's important. Now, we need to hit him at least 6 times, or stun him, to prevent this his buff from going off. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use Gog form with an auto hit weapon, which is 7 hits. I've also got the Fruitcake Wraith shield equipped, which will give me about 30 SP, and the reason it does that is because if the monster doesn't attack, it gives extra SP back. Normally it only gives 10, but since he won't attack because I'm interrupting him, it gives me 30. You could also use Moonfang Omen Shield or Soul of Soul. Those give about 20 if the monster doesn't act. But I'm using this because I have it, and it's because it's cool. Okay, so make sure my thing is toggled on the auto hit, which it is, and I'll just swing on him. Also, I've got Fruitcake Brick for some extra SP regeneration. So there, he's interrupted, and that is pretty much it. That's the whole cycle. So I'm gonna do that rotation. I'm not gonna use Shenya every turn because I'll run out of SP if I do that, and I need Gog form to maintain it. I also brought along Berserker Hides, which I might use to reduce his stats to more easily inflict more Prismatic Burn, but that's kind of extra. I don't think I'll end up doing it. What I'll probably end up doing is just attacking with Moglin Fan when I can, and slowly building up the power of this permanent Prismatic Burn, and eventually it'll whittle him down and we'll kill the boss. So that's pretty much it for the method. I'll rotate between Prismatic Burn, defensive play, offensive play. I'll use my different defensive setups for each attack, and that's pretty much it. If I forgot anything, I'll add a voiceover after this, but with all that being said, I'm going to focus up on this kill and let you guys watch along with some music. I hope you enjoy. I hope you have a great day. Treat yourself well and with kindness, and spread some peace and love. I'll see you all in the next one. Bye bye.